never say never, you know. I mean, it would be interesting to see where they've landed and what the hell has happened to them, and what number wife Moss is now on.
We're here to talk about the Starling, terrific. I guess a dramedy, I think, is a fair term. What do you feel like dramedy is fair? I guess it's a little more drama than D.
I think that's right. I mean, it's a drama with comedic elements, I suppose. But dramedy sounds fine to me. I think it tells you what it is.
It does. It fairly. I mean, the movie is very, very well balanced because there are some incredibly emotional moments. I think as a father, for me, like a lot of times it was just kind of like, oh, this is heavy, but it's cut really well with some humor to kind of keep it from being too much. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm curious for you as an actor in that film, were there ever, and being a father yourself, were there ever moments where you were like, whoa, this is a lot?
I mean, all the time. It felt like that the whole time. It felt like, I mean, I was very lucky in that I was surrounded by people who are very sensitive and lovely. Like, you know, Melissa and Ted are just lovely people. But there were times where the kind of loss that these people go through, and as a father myself, to do it justice and to get it to a place that it feels authentic, you imagine the worst things in the world happening. And so to have people around you who are keen to bring out, if not lighter moments, more comedic moments, was something of a relief, you know. And I found that it can be overwhelming otherwise. I found getting into the mindset of a person who has been through this kind of loss, with the research and with the kind of the prep that you put in, that part of it was less difficult than getting out of it. And so I found that element of it quite difficult. But like you say, it does make it somewhat easier if it could become mawkish, I suppose, if you just relentlessly go at the tragedy. And that, I suppose, isn't what Ted was trying to do.
Sure. I'm curious, you guys, this is you and Melissa working together, and I know that you'd done Bridesmaids before, but I feel like I don't recall you guys having a lot of scenes together in that movie. So did this kind of feel like working with her for the first time, maybe?
I don't think I did anything with her in Bridesmaids, now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think so.
Nothing that I can think of. Because I remember being so blown away by seeing the movie for the first time.
Yeah.
And particularly by her, because I just wasn't that familiar with her. So I was like, oh my God. But then we did have the opportunity. We actually worked together on another film with Ted called St. Vincent with Bill Murray.
Yes, that's
and
right.
So we hung out a little bit during that. That's all right. We hung out a little bit during that and had a few little scenes together. And we would have hung out a bit, I suppose, promoting Bridesmaids and whatnot. And then we kind of hung out together socially a few times with her lovely husband. And so, but it did feel like it was the first time that we were getting into the trenches with each other, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it was lovely, you know. She's all the things that she kind of comes across as. It's very, very warm, but also just very, very talented.
Yeah, you the two of you just work so well together in the movie. And one thing that I was wondering about is if there was any ad-libbing. I think especially during that opening scene where you're painting, it felt so very natural that I was wondering if that was scripted or if that was just you guys kind of riffing off each other.
Well, you know, interesting detail about, I hope they don't mind me saying this, but an interesting detail with that first scene. This is incredible, like how filmmaking has gotten to a stage where this was possible. But we shot that scene during the pandemic. Most of the movie we'd shot beforehand, but they wanted an extra scene at the start of it, just kind of doing something, I suppose, habitual or normal before everything kind of goes to. But Melissa was in Australia and I was in California. And so we shot it that way. So they shot her half, like they split the screen up.
Oh, wow.
So we're not actually in the same room. And so I think we both shot it with somebody else there. And then they just somehow managed to put it together, which is wild. But
that is.
I'm glad that it came across as like we were riffing.
It did. It felt very natural.
To the technology and the talent of the director, I think, because nothing could have felt more riffy. Unless I can't remember which one of us shot first, and maybe we were riffing off each other's audio or whatever. But yeah, very strange.
That is interesting. Yeah, it feels incredibly natural, the two of you, the way the back and forth. So
good. We would have played with the dialogue, I suppose, here and there, but it was a strong script, so you don't want to mess with it too much. We would come up with details, I suppose, towards the end. I know that I remember that very last scene where I'm like, I give her this, what the hell is it? It's like a light cover, like that I fashioned in the art class in my facility. And I think we kind of made that up on the day, a lot of it, in terms of, I hope this makes everything okay, as that kind of trying to laugh through the tragedy. But she's so quick on her feet.
Yeah. I think that our time is almost up. I appreciate you chatting with me today. I know it was really fast. The Starling is out on September 24th on Netflix. I want to ask one last question, if I may. I'm a huge fan of the IT Crowd. My wife and I have watched it so much. Man. I'm just curious, what are your thoughts or the chances on a reunion or anything like that with you and the other guy, Moss and Jen? Like, would that ever happen in the future? What do you think?
Never say never, I mean, it would be interesting to see where they've landed and what the hell has happened to them, and what number wife Moss is now on.
I agree with you. Well, thank you so much, Chris. It's been a real honor to speak with you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen. Have a great
day.